Hi, my name is Pam Denny. I'm an analytics architect with IBM Maximo Asset Management Team, and I'm so excited to continue our video series on Maximo 761 with Cognos11. And today we're going to move into dashboards, and I'm going to create a dashboard for you at the very top level. Dashboard creation is one of the most powerful attributes of the new features with Cognos11, and it is especially geared towards our Maximo Business and Power users. It gives them the capability for them to create their own dashboards and content on the fly. With the dashboard creation, the user will start by selecting a template, and there's a variety of templates that make it so much easier to guide them through the placement of their content. There's also suggested content. Suggested content is so important when you may have multiple data sources. Maybe you want to have some work order information that you have in one file or some asset information in another file. The suggested content enables you to quickly find various sources and bring those together in a single dashboard display. And that's a suggested visualization capability that is shown here. But what I really want to do today is focus on starting by creating a very simple dashboard, getting you used to the functionality and the features and how easy it is to create this content. So let's go right over to Cognos, and I'm already signed in to my Cognos environment. I launched there from Maximo. And from our previous videos, I had some CSV files that I imported. I also imported an additional CSV file today from the Dataset Designer in the Maximo Work Centers. And the reason I selected this CSV file, it just has a little bit more data and a little bit more flexibility. But wherever your data is, whether it's work orders, asset POs, whatever Maximo data you have that you've imported or you're using from a package or a data server source, you simply find your file or your content. You can come down to the bottom and select New Dashboard, or in my case, because I've just recently imported my file, I can select on the Action menu and select Create a Dashboard. And as I mentioned, the first thing you see down here is the variety of templates that are available to you. You can go with a free-form template, or again, you can utilize one of the formats that Cognos presents to you. I'm actually going to take this one here, and I'm going to start with the tab content because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to move forward with. So let's just start here to begin. So what do I see when I open this? This is the template that I have over here in my canvas on the far left-hand side. This is my content, my CSV files, all those individual fields that I brought in. If I had pinned content, something that I might use on a regular basis, I would see it here. Here's the search capability if I want to search outside of my data set. Here's my visualizations, and here are some additional widgets. Maybe I want to add a text file, maybe I want to add a car, whatever I might want to do. But let's start and just keep this really simple and start with building some content. Now, this is just a personal preference, but whenever I start to try to get someone familiar with the information, I start to usually bring in some summary information. Summary information helps me understand my data set and others. So what did I do here? I selected an aggregation of my work order count. So in my data set here, I have about just under 9,700 work orders. Well, that's a pretty nice visualization. So I'm actually going to duplicate that a couple more times and just make it easier for me. So I've duplicated that visualization. I just drag it and drop it into my next placeholder. And I'm actually going to do that one more time. Take my content and drag it and drop it. And that's the beauty of selecting a template. It organizes everything for you in the placement. So as I start to look at this, I see some of my work orders, but work order counts aren't always the most important thing of a data set. And so I want to change this because this very first tile is the most important thing. That's where we grab a user's attention. So I'm going to bring in actual labor cost. And why is this important? Well, this particular data set looks at reactive work orders, emergency corrective, those that aren't planned. And I can see that I've got about 1.4 million in cost here. Well, that's nice, but boy, that's taken up a lot of space. We don't have that kind of space here. So I'm going to format and just ask Cognos to abbreviate it. And look how much more powerful that is. Grabbing someone's attention. My data set has a 1.4 million in work order maintenance cost. Well, let's follow that same logic. Open this one here, and now let me grab my material cost. Find it, drag it and drop it to replace it, clean it up, format, abbreviate. Boom. So now I'm really grabbing the user's attention. I've got, again, actual labor cost of 1.4, 383 of material, and that's about 9,700 work orders. Now, a couple other things that I could do. We love those visualizations, grab people's attentions. There's a number of visualizations that Cognos provides to you out of the box. Let me grab a tree map, and I'm going to drag him here in the bottom. And because I'm really focusing on my labor cost, how might I want to look at my labor cost? Well, let's say we want to look at it by location and then my actual labor cost. And I want to stop here a minute as I'm doing this. A couple of things that you'll notice with Cognos that makes it so helpful is see this little L. The L indicates that these fields are measures. They're numbers that we can aggregate, summaries, averages, etc. You'll also see that we have date fields and we have ABC fields. ABC fields are like categories, whether it's a status, an asset, or location. So you have to be very careful when you're creating your visualizations that you don't mix up those values, or otherwise you can get some kind of crazy output here. So what did we actually just do? Now we're looking at our labor cost by location. Wow, what's going over here in this first location? That's really interesting. Well, let me populate this last segment that we have. Again, just come here. I've got a longer vertical column, so I'm actually going to just grab a bar chart here. And the other thing that I always think is so interesting is our problem codes. I have all this reactive work. Well, what's the problem? What's causing this? And again, let's grab actual labor costs so we're consistent. And boom, we now are seeing that most of our work orders where the problem code is reported have to do with electrical and mechanical issue. But boy, on the bottom here, I can see I've got a lot of problems because my users, for some reason, are not reporting what the problem codes is. Maybe that's too difficult, but that's a conversation for another day. Well, let me make this just a little bit cleaner. Let's tell our users what they're looking at. So this is my Boston reactive work order analysis. All right, so I've just named it. And now from your toolbar, you're going to use this quite a bit. This is the full screen mode. So this is what someone would see. Now let's open this up in full screen. And Cognos gives me a message. I just escape. But look at this. Isn't this phenomenal? In just a matter of minutes, look what I've done. I've analyzed a work order, reactive work orders, EM and CMs for a Boston site. I've really quickly captured someone's attention and said, hey, for all this data, it's costing us this much money in labor, this much in cost for about 9,800 work orders. If I drill down into the details of where I'm spending all my labor dollars, they're coming from assets in this location. And it doesn't really look like I have enough information about those work orders. I can see a great many of them are electrical and mechanical issues, but really my data set is complete because I have so many work orders where the problem code is not being reported. So isn't this fabulous? So again, in just a matter of minutes, I've created this dashboard. The next thing I want to do is I want to make sure I save this. I'll probably just save it in my own content for now, and I'll call this my first dashboard. See how easy and fun these are to create? It's just phenomenal. Well, now let me go back home. Here again is my first dashboard. If I wanted to edit it at a later time, share it, open, I'm going to open it again, and now here it opens in edit mode, but again, just click over here to view it in full-time mode. And I could share that and extend it. Oh, it's so exciting. All the things that you can do with the dashboards. So that again was a top-level introduction to Cognos Analytics dashboard features utilizing Maximo data. So with that, I'm going to end this video and then in the next video, we'll start looking at creating reports. So thank you very much for your time.